Chromebook and
I think my mom took out my Chromebook and did stuff to it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys will need your Chromebooks.
likely story.
Not right away. I didn't put it on there.
All right. All of the AS World classes are starting the research paper this week. So we're going to go over the guidelines. All of this is on here for you to read. Your parents also need to read this so they are aware of what we are working on for about the next month, and they're aware of deadlines, etc. Okay, this is a large portion of your semester 2 grade, so just make sure that you are aware of that. Down below, you need to have your parents sign this, that they have reviewed all the guidelines with you. You need to bring it back tomorrow. Okay, so if you need to make yourself a note, go ahead and do that. Okay, so we are starting the research paper. We have talked about this. If you've been in my class, we have talked about different components of the research paper. You have on the second page, you kind of have your overall guidelines. And then on the third and fourth pages, a daily timeline of everything that we are doing in class, what we're working on, where we will be located for the first portion of this. We will be in the library, so you guys can just come to the library for the foreseeable future. And then what is due. So if you look all the way at the very back page, your final copy is due February 18th, almost 1 month from now. But there is a lot that is required within this paper. So you do have daily things that you need to be able to get done along the way. If you go back to the front page, because we are giving you this timeline in advance, if you miss school for any reason, you still have to do what we did in class that day on your own and meet the deadline. Most importantly, the final deadline. The final deadline is not changed for anyone, because today, January 19th, you know that this paper will be due on February 18th. So there will be no extended deadlines for the end of the paper. Okay. So with that, flip to the second page. And Mr. Parrish, feel free to jump in.
I will.
At any point. Okay. So everybody's general topic will be the same, but your actual topic will be different from your peers. So everyone's overall topic, whatever you choose to research, needs to fall under the theme of genocide and oppression of minority groups throughout history. So there's a wide variety of different topics that you can look at under that guideline. I'm going to pull up on my Schoology page for my class. You can see this spreadsheet of topics. Pull it up on the screen. And okay, so it's kind of hard to see if you're far away, but here are all is a list of a bunch of different types of genocide. You guys went to the World War II or the Auschwitz exhibit, so you should be a little bit familiar with the Holocaust. You also probably got that in American history. But in addition to that, you have different topics that you can investigate: Armenian genocide, Rwandan genocide, Holodomor, South African apartheid. Anyway, you guys can look through that list. From this topic, it's not like you're going to do a report on what is the Holocaust. You're going to choose, if you choose to do something within the Holocaust, you're going to conduct or create a research question investigating a specific aspect of that genocide. So I have sample research questions listed below. We're not developing those yet, okay, because you don't have any baseline research done. But once you have your baseline research done, you will develop your own research question. And then what you are researching is finding your thesis or your answer to that research question. Okay, in my class, we should be familiar by now with a thesis statement, and you are looking to create a 3-part thesis. Okay, so this is on Schoology. If you want to investigate something that is not on this list, just check with one of us first. So those are kind of like what your general topics will fall under. This will be a Chicago style paper. That's the one where you use footnotes. My class, we did that with the transatlantic slave trade essay. It'll be 7 to 10 pages. You'll have a self-developed research question and thesis. You'll use footnotes. You will have a bibliography, and you'll have to use quotes in your paper. We'll get into all of the specifics when we get closer to actually composing the paper. Most importantly, plagiarism of any sort will result in a 0 on the project, so don't do that. Don't make sure you are paraphrasing, you're using quotes appropriately. You also cannot use, my classes talked about this, you, me, I, we, or us anywhere in the paper, so first or second person. And you need to limit your to be verbs, which we'll discuss further later. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to do research with the librarians, and they're going to go over all the databases and how to use scholarly sources, and also how to set up your Noodle Tools account. Anything to add, Mr. Parrish?
We want to talk about the narrative versus the research.
You can.
Okay. So let's chat real quick about these topics. Okay. So we're all familiar with learning about a topic, right? We learn about the Enlightenment. We do a study of the Enlightenment, but we don't really ask a lot of questions. It's pretty much we deliver content to you guys, and then you take notes on it. You might have to write a short answer question, an essay question, or something like that on your test. Okay. That is not exactly what you're doing here, because that is more what's called narrative. Okay, you're just telling us about it. It's a report. Okay, so in this case, you're going to do a research paper, which involves coming up with a research question, thesis, and coming up with evidence to support that. And we've done the DBQs in class, right? We know exactly, like, once we're given material, we can turn it into a research question by investigating a little more. That's what we're going to be doing here, okay? And if you're in my class, you know that earlier we walked through step-by-step the process of, the bucketing process, the questioning process, the thesis writing process, all of those things. That's all going to be related to this, okay? So instead of writing a report on the Rwandan genocide, when you're basically just telling us what happened, okay? That's out there. We know what happened. We can find that easily. What you're going to do is you're going to make a question about it. So it might be something like, how did the lack of United Nations support contribute to the Rwandan genocide? And then that would be something where you'd have to do research and link different pieces of data to a final product, okay? So it's less report and narrative and more research question and thesis based, okay? So I don't want anybody to come out of this thinking that they're going to do a report on one of these things, because that has happened before. And then a week into this, I'm like, well, where's your question? Well, I've been researching all this, and that's fine, but that's done. We already know what the Rwandan genocide was. That's like a 7th grade paper, right? When you just learn about something and you write a report. This is deeper. This is where you go deeper into asking questions, forming thesis, and writing about it. So that's really the purpose of this, is to get you to think beyond the surface level data, and to get you to think on a more scholarly level than just, finding information and regurgitating it onto a paper. Okay, so that's really the purpose of this.
And I have some sample research questions, some strong research questions, and then poor examples if you want to just look at that to see a comparison. Like what he was talking about with what is the Rwandan genocide or what is the Black War? That would not be a research question. That's, again, report style. However, what role did state-produced propaganda play in the Rwandan genocide? That's something where you would have to find those factors. Okay, so again, this list is available on Schoology. If you go to the next page, you have your timeline. This is a project where I'm just going to say the expectation is probably that you will be spending 30 minutes to an hour outside of class each night, every other night. Because by the time we get through explaining what needs to be explained in class, you really don't have a ton of time. Some days will be primarily work days, but if you're not getting done what you need to get done in class, you do need to spend some time outside of class. So what we're going to show really quickly here is a video that just kind of goes over what is genocide to get us thinking in the right context. Okay, again, this is on Schoology. So a lot of you guys don't have what we call like survey knowledge over these. If you don't know, you guys might not know what Holodomor is. So this is the time when you are doing just baseline research. This is the time when you can go to Google, Wikipedia. You're just getting down general information so you know what these various topics are. Then by the time it comes time to choose a research question and narrow down your topic, after you've done that preliminary research, you know what it is you're going to be doing your research over. Okay, so this is so that you can narrow down what it is that you actually want to research. So have out notebook paper. You're going to take notes. Okay, I will check my class's notes tomorrow. You don't have to have like them all done because you will have time again tomorrow to do a little bit more